Good evening, everyone, everywhere. Welcome to Doctor's Orders. We are here every Friday evening, and I call it Friday because it's a great day. It's always good to be together, learning new health trends, and I love learning from my bestest buddy, Coach Carla. And for those who know me and know Carla, I call her my personal Dr. Google because I know from when she came and she researches the research and makes sure when she's telling you something, it is on point. We are a part of a healthy living community known as the Juice Plus community, and I've been here for the last 10 years. I've been here for 10 years, and Coach Carla was the one who introduced me to Juice Plus. Juice Plus, simply put, is just real food that has been placed into capsules, into soft chews, and now we have superfood, and we have someone who's going to be showing those products when Coach Carla goes through them. Juice Plus has been around since 1970. We were the company that introduced smoke detectors back in 1970, and then later on we introduced air filtration and water filtration. And then in 1993, with a divine connection with Dr. Smokey Centillo and the Juice Plus crew, Juice Plus was born. So I'm going to turn it over to my buddy. As I always told you, she is my personal Dr. Google. And Coach Carla, please take the floor.
Thank you so much. I am going to try to undo what I just did, which was pin you to, but I can't see the pinning instructions. All
Okay, I'm
right,
going to pin. Maybe if I pin you, that'll work. Let's see. I'll
that's
spotlight
great.
you. There you go. I'll
Thank
spotlight you
you.
for everyone.
Hello,
There you go.
everyone. I'm really excited to be here. I'm Coach Carla Joy, and I wanted to ask you how many of you, and you may see me looking down at some notes because I don't want to forget anything. So, how many of you would like the pain and the exhaustion to stop? How many of you want your energy back so that you can live and feel normally again? And how many of you want to stop living in fear of a flare up or labs going in the wrong direction? Well, you're in the right place. Now, the information that we'll be sharing this evening is only for education purposes. Please do not make changes to your regimen, your medically assigned regimen, your medications that your doctor, your nurse has prescribed for you, until you've had a conversation with them and have come to an agreement with them. Because what we're giving you is information that you can take to them and so that you can make some informed decisions. And once again, I'd like to say welcome to Doctor's Orders. I'm so glad you're here. And um, anybody can have what you're looking for if you answered yes to any of those questions I asked before. Now, I'm Coach Carla Joy. I'm a medically trained health educator and health and life coach. But for those of you who have not yet heard my story, would it be okay if I just took 2 or maybe 3 minutes to tell my story? Would those of you who've heard it before say yes in the chat? So say yes so that I can tell my
Yes.
story.
Yes.
Thank you. So, several years ago, more than a decade ago, I was in the cold exam room. Can you imagine it? You're in the exam room at your doctor's office, and in comes my physician, and she says, "Young lady, you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and prediabetes." My world slowed down and stopped. It felt that way anyway, because for some reason, I thought I was the healthiest person I knew. I had health challenges. I had a history of health challenges. I came from a family with a history of health challenges, but I thought I was doing everything right. I panicked and then I prayed. I said, God, I don't want to be managed. I wanted to be healed. And so I went on a journey to look for answers. But how many of you have felt the frustration of thinking that you're doing everything right, thinking that you're making the right decisions, and it doesn't seem to be working? How many of you have felt the fear of realizing that you or your loved ones was now a mere statistic? You see, my mother and my father and her father had died of cancer in the same year. Members of my father's family had all died from complications of cardiovascular disease. Two of my relatives on my mother's side had died from complications of type 1 and type 2 diabetes. And two of my relatives had died from complications of autoimmune conditions. In other words, I was a statistic and I was scared. Have you ever felt the confusion of, what do I do now? Everything I've trusted, in fact, I had invested years of my life and even mortgaged my future on a system that had not protected me from the very things that I was being trained to manage. So I searched for answers. I had to go outside of the box. I turned to Ruthie because she was one person who was already on a health journey. And I wanted to know, what had you found out? What had you done? I searched and I dragged my buddy Karen along. We tried different modalities. We tried different eating plans. We tried different procedures. And then a few years later, my goddaughter, who's now a doctor of physical therapy, introduced me to the documentary Forks Over Knives. If you're interested in getting a copy of that, it's available on YouTube, but I'll be happy to put the link down in the chat. And then she showed me the lecture by Dr. Michael Greger called Uprooting the Cause of Disease, in which he went through the 15 most common causes of death listed by the CDC on their website. He went through and showed the research of how making lifestyle changes could reduce the risk of getting, slow the progress of those diseases, and even in some cases, reverse them. So, what if a healthy U-turn is possible through simple lifestyle changes? What if conditions that are autoimmune could be changed? But what have we been taught by the media, by advertisements, by even some of our medical professionals? Weight gain with age is normal. We've been taught as you age, you can expect degenerative chronic diseases like heart disease, like cancer, like autoimmune conditions, and arthritis. You can expect to have and need more and more and more medications to manage your symptoms while your aches and pains get worse and worse. But what do the researchers, what do the medical professionals actually say? Well, T. Colin Campbell says everything in food works together to create health or disease. Then Dr. Michael Greger says the top killers, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, other autoimmune conditions, are largely preventable through diet. Then Dr. Dean Ornish says what we eat and how we live can actually transform our genes, literally changing the way our cells function, turning on disease-fighting genes and turning off genes that promote cancer, heart disease, and other diseases, other illnesses, including autoimmune diseases. And finally, Dr. Will Bulkowicz, who is a GI surgeon, says a diverse plant-based diet feeds your microbiome, which reduces systemic inflammation and protects against chronic disease. Well, Those are the experts. But here in doctor's orders, we simply say, eat more fruits and vegetables. We like to keep it simple. And when it comes to autoimmune disease, you may be asking, what is autoimmune disease? What is it really? And if you're raising your hand, I can't see it, but if you're raising your hand, you can put that in the chat. Well, here's a list just to give you an idea. Crohn's disease, celiac disease. Have you heard of vitiligo or arthritis? Type 1 diabetes or vasculitis? Hashimoto's thyroiditis? Systemic lupus erythematosus, known as SLE or lupus for short, psoriasis, muscular sclerosis, MS for short, Sjogren's disease, alopecia areata. So you may be asking, who's asking, what causes this? Well, I'm glad you asked. Some cells in our body inflammatory response get triggered. They're things, something foreign usually triggers them, but they remain active. And then they attach to similar antigens.
Coach Carla, you went away. I think she got disconnected.
Her picture was still there. Is it still there, Ruth?
No, it's gone.
Uh,
I'm going to pause the recording.
I'm back.
Are you back? Carla, you're
Okay.
going to, your
Yes, I
connection.
am. I'm back.
Okay, your connection went.
It's a bad connection.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. So you might be, I was talking about what causes autoimmune. And I said that our inflammatory immune cells, the cells of our inflammatory immune response system, they get triggered by something, usually a protein of some sort, and they remain active. And then they attach to similar proteins on our own cells. Some people call them antigens, and they start destroying them. And this often is connected with chronic inflammation. We spoke about inflammation before. We know that acute inflammation is just response to injury. Acute inflammation comes and goes, but many cells involved in inflammation are also in our immune system. And so the cells remain active. And chronic inflammation can be caused by external things like radiation, environmental toxins, and pollution. But even inside of our body, our cells are active, and they are producing, during their natural metabolism, they're producing things called reactive oxygen species. Think of them as sparks, like the sparks that come off of a fire. And these have to be neutralized. So what neutralizes them is something called antioxidants. Well, where do we get antioxidants? I'm so glad you asked. There are foods that are anti-inflammatory and they provide the antioxidants. So when it comes to autoimmune conditions, the things that are going to make the biggest difference is eating foods that are anti-inflammatory. So the question is, what are inflammatory foods and what are anti-inflammatory foods? So if you're writing this down, now would be a good time to say to write inflammatory foods are high in fats, low in fiber, they are usually highly processed, high in salt, oil, and simple sugars. Are you following me here? And then the anti-inflammatory foods would be high in fiber, low in fat, relatively low calorie density foods. And there's a word one simple word for that, and it is plants. So fruits, vegetables, whether it's the green leafy vegetables or the colorful vegetables or the root vegetables, grains of different kinds, and legumes. When you hear the word legumes, think of peas and beans. So all of these fruits, vegetables, grains, peas, and beans, these are anti-inflammatory foods. And if you are eating a whole food plant-based eating plan, then you will have 90% of your calories coming from plants and less than 10% coming from animal products. You'll also have no dairy products in your whole food plant-based eating plan. You'll have lots of fiber. It will be low in fat, and water will be your main drink. I'm going to take a sip. So how do we know that this works? We can take a look at the population studies compiled by a man called Dan Buettner in his book, Blue Zones. The blue zones are Okinawa, Japan, Sardinia, Italy, Nicoya, Costa Rica, Icaria, Greece, and right here in the United States, Loma Linda, California. These are places where people live very long and healthy lives, and they also have characteristic lifestyles. Some of those characteristics are they're very active, they have great community, and they eat whole food, plant-based, plant strong, you can say. And many of them have traditional living habits. Now, there are two personal examples of people who had autoimmune conditions, and by changing their lifestyle, including changing what they ate, and started eating whole food plant-based, that I would like you to pay attention to. Dr. Saray Stanzik went from being the doctor on call to being a patient one night when she was given an MRI, and they found that the reason why she could not move was because she had developed MS, multiple sclerosis. She took her doctor's advice, took the medications, but she progressed along in her condition. Then she discovered that food could make a difference. She changed her eating plan, and she actually got so much better, she was able to run a marathon. We have a couple marathoners in our group tonight, and we might even point them out later. Dr. Brooke Goldner is another example. She was diagnosed with lupus at around age 16. She took chemotherapy to protect her kidneys. They expected her to die. She was told not to go into a stressful lifestyle, so she went to medical school and became a doctor. During that, at the end of that time, she met a young man who became her husband, and he worked with her and her eating plan and her exercises. And she, after a period of time, was diagnosed, went back to the doctor, and the doctor says, we have to redo all our tests because we cannot find any lupus markers in your blood test because it had all been reversed. And I don't know if Ruthie would be kind enough to just give us an example of her story, a minute or two, so that we can see that this changing how you eat does not just potentially impact autoimmune conditions. It could also impact other conditions. Ruthie?
Thank you, Coach Carla. Uh, my story began many years ago, back in 1994. A family member was sick, and we decided to try something different because we didn't like what the doctors were saying. So we started juicing. That's what Carla was referring to, that we were juicing and things like that. And then I got sick in 1997 with congestive heart failure. And I just cried out to God, like, what do I need to do? And it was a long arduous road, but God delivered. And I upped what I was already doing as far as eating more fruits and veggies and drinking more water and going to bed and getting rid of stressful people and stressful situations. I got better, but my heart still wasn't functioning properly because I was tired every single day of my life. I was just tired all the time. And then Coach Carla introduced me to Juice Plus, and it took a little bit, but I decided because I was already on this journey of eating lots of fruits and veggies and exercising and doing what I needed to do. But then I said, you know what? Let me just try this stuff. I'll just try it, see what happens. I had no expectation because I didn't know what it could do, but within 2 weeks, I had energy that I didn't even realize I had lost. It because it just came back so naturally. I didn't even notice it until I did a whole bunch of things in a row, like cleaning and cooking and putting the dishes away and wiping down the counters. And when I started mopping the floor, I went, hey, no, I did like a body scan. Oh, and I'm not tired. And from that moment on, after 2 weeks, I've never looked back of trying anything else because over from 1994 to 2016, when I finally decided, you know what, I'm gonna eat this stuff, I tried a lot of different things, even whole food, organic, all a lot of different things. But Juice Plus was the one thing that actually changed the numbers. My cholesterol went down 20 something points in the first 90 days. And then in 1 year, my cholesterol was down 62 points. And Coach Dr. Carla told me that is unusual to have something like that happen. And then my heart reversed. I had a normal functioning heart. On February 8th, 2018, my cardiologist peeked his head in and said, young lady, you have a normal functioning heart. And I said, say that again. So I say it again. He said it again. I said, I waited 21 years to hear those words, normal functioning heart. So when people ask me about other stuff, I'm not going to move away from the one simple change that I made that changed everything to try something new or different. Juice Plus is not the latest craze. It's basic whole food nutrition. It's not a phase. It's not other stuff. It's food. It's fruits and veggies. We'll always need them. You know why? Because even God said that. He told us to eat of the fruit of the land. God told us to do that. So I signed up for the business and the products on the very same day, and I haven't looked back. I am firm on my belief in this business and in the products that I eat every single day. And this week I went to the doctors and I'm still doing good. 18 years.
Thank you.
um, Yes, real quick and I'll stop talking. February 8th was very important to me because my father's birthday was February 8th. So on my father's birthday, I got the news that I had a normal functioning heart. And my father died in 1966 at the age of 48 with um, heart complications. So I'm grateful to God for Juice Plus, for my buddy of over 30 years, Coach Carla. I love you to life, and I'm gonna stop talking now. I'm gonna mute myself. Watch.
Thank you so much. Can you tell we're a little bit excited about this? And so you may be asking, well, what's next? I'm glad you asked. If you may be saying, well, I'm so busy. Whatever you're offering or whatever solution you have, remember, we're not suggesting that we can cure or treat any disease, but whatever solution we have, it has to be time sensitive because you're busy. I get that. And you want something easy and simple. I get it. It should also be budget friendly because so many people are spending thousands of dollars a month on medications that have lots and lots and lots and lots of side effects that have to be continued for the rest of their lives if they want to see the changes that have that are debilitating. So I'm not saying to stop the medication. I'm just saying that you want something that's cost effective, and we have that for you. And you want something that's easy to share with your family, because if you were to make a one simple change, you'd want something that's easy on your family as well. So, is it all right if I share something with you? Can I share with you how we help people? Now, this might not be for everybody, because you may not be ready. You may not be sick and tired of being sick and tired. I've met people like that. They like to take their medications and they're fine. And so that's okay. But if you are ready to get fit and healthy, then put fit and healthy in the chat. Just put fit and healthy. If you want to be fit and healthy, if you're ready. So while you're doing that, if there was a way that you could jumpstart your healthy living journey and to become fit and healthy, would you want to know later or would you want to know now? Put later or now. Which would you want? Would you want to know later or would you want to know now? Ruthie and I already know. So let me know if you want to know. Okay, now. Okay, so let me tell you what we do to help people, even people who have autoimmune conditions. We invite them to join our community, because our community is about inspiring healthy living around the world. And to help you with that, we have access to a free private Facebook group. Now, many groups have some sort of payment plan, like $97 a month, but this is free. It's private, invitation only. But if you're ready to join your community to have access to medical professionals who know how to help people begin their healthy living journey with whole food, plant-based eating and make some of the other lifestyle changes, then this is the group for you. You can get access to recipes, to other people, to ask questions, to feel like I'm not alone on this journey. So that's one of the first things that we do. We invite the person who invited you can introduce you to our Healthy Living Revolution Facebook page so that you can get to know more people in the community. The second thing that we do is give you access to these amazing plant powders. So you heard Ruthie talk about our Juice Plus products. So Dr. Sally is going to show some of them while we're talking. So we have the Juice Plus capsules, fruits, vegetables, and berries in capsules. 10 fruit, 10 vegetables, 10 berries. These fruit and vegetables are grown in pristine conditions by multi-generational farms. They are not picked until they're the peak of ripeness. So they have the highest nutrient content. And then as soon as possible, they're harvested, flash frozen to lock in those nutrients and concentrated into powders and put in plant-based capsules. And these capsules means that you've got fruits and vegetables that are quality, that are tested by an they're tested by an external party, so that we know that what's in them is what's in it is what's on the label, and there's nothing in it that shouldn't be there. We also have the omegas. A lot of people are concerned about their omega-3 level. Well, omegas do not come from fish. They actually come from algae. And when you eat the fish, the algae oils are concentrated in their flesh, but so are the toxins from the waters in which this fish are swimming. So we bypassed the middle fish, went straight to the algae and to 5 other plant sources of omegas. But omega-3 doesn't come by itself. It has buddies. It has omega-3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. So our omega blend contains all of the above, and it's also in a plant-based capsule. We also have access to the complete shakes. Now, many of you are looking for protein sources. Well, our body does not need as much protein as we think, and the cleanest protein is plant protein. So we have access to the complete because it has plant protein, but it also has fiber. So when you when you eat the complete shakes, you mix them up with a plant-based milk or with water, you are getting fiber, you're getting protein, you're getting healthy fats, you're getting amaranth, quinoa, pumpkin powder, Brussels sprouts, and to name a few. So that's a healthy, quick meal in a bag. Now, it's not necessarily going to replace a meal, but you could use it as a quick way to get nutrition. It does not spike your glucose like some other protein or carbohydrate rich sources. And because of the fiber, the naturally occurring fiber keeps it so that even diabetics can use it. And in addition to the complete shake, we also have the Luminate. Now, many people are looking for energy without jitters. Well, Luminate contains ashwagandha and cordyceps, coffee berries, to name a few. So you're getting energy with focus and calm. So this is a unique product, and it is, you just add it to water and it makes a refreshing drink. In addition to that, we've now added the superfood. The superfood is the contents of the fruit, vegetable, and berry capsules in a convenient sleeve that you can now, if you put it in front of you, right in front of yourself, put it in front of you. Oh, there you go. And you could just put it in water, and it makes a wonderful drink. And you can have that every day. And finally, we have the super biome. You know, everybody knows that the beginning of our nutrition is in our gut. But how do we fix the gut? Well, we need probiotics, and we've provided 5 different strains of probiotic bacteria in a delayed release capsule so it can navigate the acid in our stomach and actually get into our intestines intact. But even when you have the bacteria, the right bacteria, which we have, the different strains of bacteria, you need to feed them. I mean, if you had house guests, they wouldn't stay if you didn't feed them, right? So these house guests, you now have them, you have to feed them with the super biome powder. This is the prebiotic 5 fibers that are proven to feed the bacteria, the good bacteria in our gut, and to help stabilize them and to help you experience the benefit of the pro and prebiotics. So the prebiotics plus the probiotics give you the postbiotics, the actual compounds that the bacteria make to help keep us and make us healthy. Remember, we have discovered that most of the neurotransmitters are produced in our gut, and the biggest part of our immune system is also in our gut. So, oh my goodness, I went through that as quickly as I could. But if you are ready to make a difference, you can join our community, join our free Facebook group. You can get access to our Juice Plus products. Speak to the person who invited you, and they will be happy to take you step by step, give you answer any of your questions about the Juice Plus products. But wait, I will also offer 5 sessions one-on-one to anyone who would like to work through getting started on their healthy living journey. So that's 5 free coaching sessions with Coach Carla Joy. So you're going to join our community, have access to medical professionals, have access to recipes. You're going to get access to the Juice Plus products, and you can get access to 5 days free of coaching to jumpstart your healthy living journey. And finally, you can also travel with us to our upcoming immersion events. At the end of May, we have the Paget Boot Camp. Now, this is the boot camp to beat all boot camps. It was the first one in our organization, and it is amazing. So ask the person who invited you so that you can meet us there in Georgia at the Paget Farm. It's amazing. It's a once in a lifetime experience, but you can have this experience every single year. You need to be there and bring a couple of friends. So join our community, join our Facebook community, get access to our Juice Plus products, get on board with our coaching, and come travel with us. And also, the Pagets may be coming to a town near you. So I hope that you now see that this is how we help people. We don't claim to cure or treat any disease, but we're excited because we know what's happened to us. After a year of adding Juice Plus to my own healthy living journey, all the things that I had tried, all the changes I tried to make, it's after adding the concentrated fruits and vegetables. A year in, my doctor gave me a clean bill of health. And today is a bit bittersweet for me because my brother has transitioned to his heavenly home. And one of the things he said when he saw me last year, after not seeing me for many years, he said, "You look younger than you have any right to." And it was because I've been eating, I've changed my lifestyle, but I've been adding concentrated fruits and vegetables that have made a difference in my life. And we're all passionate about it. So we're going to end this recording. This is Coach Carla Joy saying thank you, thank you, thank you for being here this evening. Those of you who are on live can stay on, and we can and we'll do our best to answer questions. But we're just so grateful that you joined us this evening, and we thank you for being here, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. Doctor's Orders, where we say, you can unmute yourself and join me in saying,
Eat
Eat
more
more fruits
fruits and vegetables.